I think about sharing the gospel, we usually imagine in our minds sort of this really calm scene where someone in our life just sits down and asks us to tell them the gospel, and then we bring this clear and just emotionally, powerfully charged presentation of the gospel message, and this person sitting in front of us just begins weeping and repenting and wants to get baptized, and they begin this new journey in their life. And that's sort of how we picture evangelism, and most of us are kind of waiting for that slow pitch to come our way. But anyone who's actually ever taken the bull by the horns and tried to share the gospel knows that that's just not real life. That's not real life. That's not what it ever, well, maybe once in a while, but most of the time that's almost never what it really looks like, right? Usually it's someone that doesn't really want you to be telling them the gospel. They're sort of cringing as you're telling them the truth of who Jesus is. Typically, sometimes it even ends their relationship. Sometimes they feel awkward around you. Sometimes you're forced to defend your faith because someone's attacking you. How do we share the gospel in less than ideal circumstances? I think that's the question that we really should be asking. And I think that's the question that our text answers in Acts chapter 22. So Paul just got assaulted, full on assaulted, like beaten to a pulp by a Jewish mob in the temple for false accusations of bringing a Greek into the temple, which he didn't do. He's getting beat to a pulp. The Romans literally have to insert themselves and arrest Paul, lead him away in chains just to keep him from getting killed, assuming that he was some kind of criminal. Now, if it were you and me, we would be thinking, let's just get out of here as quick as possible before we literally get beaten to death. But that's not Paul's approach. He sees this as an opportunity to share the gospel. So he turns to the Roman guards that just arrested him and said, "May I address the mob?" And they allow him to. He turns and he begins to tell them the gospel. I think there's some phenomenal principles in this passage for how we share the gospel in less than ideal circumstances, how we give our apologetic, how we give our defense of the gospel to those who maybe don't want to hear it and maybe don't even like us. So I hope you guys will tune in this week as we take a look at that passage. I also hope you'll look at the passage on your own. Do some spade work, do some commentary work, look at the Greek words, study the passage. Post your thoughts in the comments below this video, throw them on Slack. Let's get a conversation going before we dive into this together as a church family in our groups on Sunday morning. Grace and peace.